Well, we're really going to take a little departure here. And here at the Lincoln Bookshop, we can always come up with an artifact to ask our authors about, and that's what we have. We store and curate and have artifacts of all sorts. Well, here's one that's pretty unusual that came in to me, and I'm showing you this. It's actually signed, approved by Andrew Foote as commander of the Portsmouth sloop. This is just pre-war. This is 58 now. And it's about a guy, a soldier named Gorman, who was afflicted with mania. Right there, afflicted with mania. And the reason for it goes through a number of, the whole story is in these two pages here, that he goes and he's off the hospital now, he's going on to land, and two surgeons in a row see him at the hospital, and each of them tell a little bit more of the story about what Gorman was being discharged for, this mania. And it turns out that on the other side, that he had a tumescence and constipation, but a tumescence, well, which is a enlargement. And it wasn't until we go down into what that's what one of the surgeons said. The second surgeon tells us what this tumescence was about. It seems that the mania was being caused by his addiction to masturbation. So, right there.
Yes.
Now, were these tumescences common? And what about other disease in the soldiery?
Well, the one that there's a discharge from a soldier that showed up at the National Archives. Are you familiar with that? What he died of?
Tell me.
Masturbation.
Died of. This guy almost did too, I guess.
Yes.
I guess that's all we're going to say about that. So let's go on from that. What do you think is perhaps the most underrated battle or skirmish in the war? You're receiving tide about Vicksburg and Gettysburg. You can't get much higher on the plane than that. But what is overlooked?
Well, I would say in many ways, outside of its being bloody, I would say if I was going to pick a decisive moment in the Civil War, I would pick the Battle of the Wilderness, because U.S. Grant has just been promoted to Lieutenant General, General-in-Chief, and he will be traveling with General Meade, because Grant realized that it's best to be in the field. Now, Grant and the President have a very good relationship. Now, at the Battle of the Wilderness will last 2 days. That's the first time that Grant, overlooking General Meade's right shoulder, will meet General Lee. It's a bad 2 days for the Union Army. They will lose 18,000 men. Lee will lose a little less than 10,000 men. Now, everybody in the Union Army, and that's the day that Horace Porter counts the number of cigars Grant smokes. He goes through, I believe, 26. Means he's not constant. He's very nervous on the 7th and on the 6th. And everybody in the Confederate Army is certain that on the morning of the 7th, the Union Army will be gone. Where will they be? They'll be north of the Rapidan River. Just like General Burnside did when he crossed the Rapidan. Just like General Hooker with his finest army on the planet would do. Because casualty-wise, the Army of the Potomac had taken more casualties. So the Union Army figures they're going back. The Confederate Army is certain they have won. The only man that has some second thoughts is General Lee, because he's seen something in Grant, and he remembers when they meet at Appomattox, he can't remember Grant. Grant remembers Lee well from the Mexican War. And I would say on the evening of the 7th, when the Army doesn't turn back, they go around Lee's right flank. And the soldiers who have done the fighting and dying at the Wilderness will cheer, because they can see that their comrades who are killed or wounded have not died in vain. And as long as the Union team of Grant in the field, as General-in-Chief, and Mr. Lincoln as President, retain their confidence in each other, that's going to end up in Wilton McLean's parlor at 3:30 in the afternoon on the 9th day of April, on Palm Sunday. I think people don't really attach enough importance to that one moment in time. If Grant had turned back.
Is that the one perhaps you would have liked to have been at, or is there another time during the war that you would have liked to have been a fly on a wall right there?
I would. That was one of the times I would like to be there to see what the feeling would be, what the interface that we don't know with Grant would be with his immediate staff, because Grant's staff and Meade's staff did not love each other, as you know. And you would see what Grant would be talking over with, or maybe the quiet man never talked it over with anybody, what he's going to do. But I think that's one of the moments that's very important, because of if he turned back, Mr. Lincoln might not have been reelected.
Maybe that's a good subject for the next "You Are There" that
Yes.
Walter Cronkite used to have. We have a question that was just emailed in from Damien in Hawaii. He's with the Hawaii Civil War Roundtable. We thank you for this. What general besides Pemberton, since I talked about him, could have done a much better job in defending Vicksburg?
Well, those are questions you always ask. You have to ask who's available. Now, if you're a dreamer, you could say General Forrest, but General Forrest would have as much chance of commanding the Confederate Army at Pemberton, at Vicksburg, as I would have. So, you can't, because you cannot go picking one of these low. You got to have some practical man, and the only person that could probably do it is, and Lee would not go out there, because Lee's a Virginian first, last, and always, as Davis found out when Lee argues to go north to that little voyage trip up to Gettysburg he makes when he talks Lee into it. So I think if you're going to, as I say again, I think Grant's Vicksburg campaign is a masterpiece. So can you get any Confederate generals to equal him? And I think you would have to create a person. I don't see any of the Confederate generals that are available that could have coped with Grant during that period.